just excited to be back at it. Excited to coming off a win, but still, a ton of stuff to correct. But it was good for us to get out here on a little bit of a wet day too, just in case. We haven't had a lot of wet practices, and you don't know what Saturday's going to bring. So just to feel those different elements, and the guys handle it well. So excited about the prep and about big game coming up.
What kind of a start did you get to Stanford practice this week? Last week. And how do you pick that up again this week?
What type of, say it again, I'm sorry?
Actually, it was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yep. So how far into it did you get? And how do you
all the way.
Guys
we did. We got all the way to where it was to the point where, because by the time Friday, when they make the decision, you've basically, you've done everything. You're just reviewing things. So it was one of those deals. It's a fine line. You end up wanting to be careful about putting too much in, and so you want to come back. You watch the UCLA game. You get an idea, does the stuff still hold true? Let's not try and put too much in. And you can also go back and maybe make adjustments based on maybe some of the things you either ran or showed in the Colorado game. It all just is, kind of fine-tuning what the original game plan was, but not getting too far away from it unless you really find something that you think, this maybe wasn't a good idea, and now you scratch that. And there were a few things like that too, based off last week and going into this week.
Seeing Daltoso play a little left tackle last week, maybe wonder how valuable he's been with his ability to move around the line for you this year.
Huge. And any O-lineman that has the ability to move around, it just seems to always come into play during most years. So anytime you have that lineman who has that versatility and can play both mentally and physically, because it takes both, going to a different spot and just mentally handling that too, they almost always end up during a year playing both spots when they have the ability to play both spots, because just the nature of it. There's going to be some injuries and things like that occur. So it's been very valuable in terms of Val and what he's done, and happy to have him and what he's doing from a versatile standpoint.
Just in terms of looking at Stanford's defense, what is it about them that's the hardest to game plan for?
Just some of the looks they're going to give you, almost from a stoutness and strength aspect. Because you can line up in the looks they're going to give. You can show the coverages, but you can't emulate some of the strength and some of the things physicality-wise they play with, and those are tough. And just like that, and that's like most teams, they have a certain aspect of their defense, their offense, that is tough for a scout team to emulate. Well, that's tough for our guys. Our guys can get in the looks, they can line up, but you're never going to feel exactly the way it might feel on Saturday blocking 32 on the edge, or whoever it might be, and different guys like that. So it's that's the biggest challenge. But our guys just got to understand that they've been through moments all year. They've played it. This is going to be another very good defense we're up against, but we've gone against very good defenses, and we just have to be excited about that challenge, which they are. So
we spent a ton of time this week talking about their big tight ends and receivers. It reminded me of Castles, and I wonder if even in his true freshman year, if you're starting to see some of that development, maybe into being one of those guys.
Yeah, definitely. You've seen us play him a little bit and tried to target him down there in the red zone. Actually, 2 different times we were planning on that a little bit, and yes, you're starting to see a guy that has a very high ceiling in what he can do. Because to me, he's not just a size guy. He's got extreme athleticism for his size. So I'm really excited. I don't want to move into next year though, because I'm just really excited about Castles over the next month or whatever it is, based on what bowl game we play in. So that's just added time to continue to develop him as we go. And then ultimately, once the season does end, I'll be excited about what he's going to do in the off season and where he's going to keep elevating to.
Even yesterday, Mo was talking about Castles on the scout team early in the year, causing fits for the defense, and then it was to him obvious that he was eventually going to get into the lineup on Saturdays. Did you see this early in the year from him that there might be a chance?
We did, but it was one of those things where he's had that ability to do certain things at a level against any of our guys, and he really has. And then there's been other things that were like brand new to him, like literally just getting into a 3-point stance. Those are things he didn't do. So it's that fine line between stuff he can go up against some of our really good players in a one-on-one drill, and catch a fade ball or a corner ball and look really good. And then he can turn around and have, I'm going all the way back to fall camp, have trouble just because he hadn't been doing it. Sure. So there's just aspects of his game that were here, and then other aspects that were just kind of at level zero where it's taken some work. And but the great thing is he's got the work ethic, he cares, he's got the size, and you already see those same things that maybe he was struggling with, getting in and out of his stance, getting off the ball, certain things in the run game. That's just continues to get better and better. So that's going to be what he's going to work towards, is being that well-rounded player.
I was watching some film from earlier this year and just looking at Chase back then and where he is now. What kind of development have you seen in particular from him?
Yeah, I think he's just becoming, just more comfortable with the entire offense, more comfortable with understanding, just even just splits and moving guys and certain things like that. So it's one of those things too, like any young quarterback, you're gonna and you should, you're gonna ascend, you're gonna keep climbing, but you are still gonna have dips. And I've seen it with every quarterback. You still have dips, and I think what he's been able to do is when he does have a dip, he's able to snap back out of it, a little bit quicker. He's able to fix it. We're able to, go through some things and make sure that we can, correct some things on the run to where you take a dip, but then you're climbing back up sooner rather than continuing to dip. And that's what I've seen him do.
How would you assess his game against Colorado?
He wasn't to his level. That was a slight bit of a dip, for him, and I think he'd be the first to say that. He can, to me, he's played at a higher level at different times, and he knows that, and I think he's excited to then study that. Already has looked at the film. What can I do better? And it might just be 3 or 4 things that all of a sudden, boom, that's the difference between playing a sharp, grade out higher football game or not. And he's shown that he can. So some of the mistakes he made, let's say in that game, he's shown that he can do that. He just he took a little bit of a dip on a few things in that, and but he'll bounce right back.
Anything specific that you want to point out to him this week as a Colorado game?
Just mainly just continuing to trust. Continuing to trust and get to your second, third, and fourth read. Continuing to trust what's going on around him and understand that, you can get to that second read, that third read, that fourth read, and those guys will be there. And that's something when you look back on it, he'd be the first to tell you, yeah, I definitely could have got to those reads. And he's done it, so he knows it. He's done it. He'll be fine, but those are the things specifically that he'll definitely, looking for him to take that step.
What is it kind of like working with a young quarterback? Because, you've got to be kind of careful about, what you're having him do or whatnot. I mean, is it kind of hard to think of the mentality about it as well, working with him?
Yeah, but it's fun. It is. It's fun. Every coach, goes through those times where you watch a young quarterback develop and you get to work with him and you get to remember when he started and where he's, where he's going. And so it's exciting. So I enjoy it. I do. Sometimes there are those growing pains, but that's with anybody. That's with any young player at any position. That's with young coaches. That's with young anything. So or when it's new to you. So but that's a fun part of the process that I enjoy, and that's what we're in it for. So yeah, it's a challenge like anything, and it should be. Things aren't easy. Things are a challenge, but it's a fun challenge.
With some of your you've had to reconfigure your offensive line and some injuries. Is there any one thing that you want from that group going forward?
I just, I'd like to see us do a better job, and it's not just with that group, but that group sets the tone with staying ahead of the sticks. That's something that's gotten away from us a little bit, in the last few weeks. What I mean by staying ahead of the sticks is keeping yourself from getting into, whether we're running the ball on first or second down, throwing the ball, RPOs, we're getting a little bit too many situations where we're in 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, rather than 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. Because early in the year, BYU and some of the other games, when we were a little higher percentage on 3rd down, we were in a better we were putting ourselves in better 3rd down situations. So that's what I said. And I said that we got to focus on that. We got to focus on being more efficient on 1st and 2nd down. Well, like anything, that does start up front. So they own that and they're excited about that. But as an offense, that's what I want to see us do a better job, to create more, better situations on those early down distances.
How'd you feel Del Toso did at Pat's place at left tackle?
He did a good job. Did a really good job, especially when you're thrown out there. Not necessarily thrown out there, but it's not like he's had a ton of reps. No, and then all of a sudden you're going up against a D-line from Colorado that I think was D-front that was really impressive. You know, I know the season's gone the way it did for them and got out, but in terms of man for man, they had some guys that could do some good things. That's why they won 5 straight to start. So it was a good challenge, and he did a good job. And like we were saying earlier, lucky to have him.
Got to see B-Mac in that slash role a little bit on Saturday. How's he adjusted to what you're asking him to do?
Getting better and better, and you saw it out here today. You saw him do some things today. Again, it's like a young player because he's new to playing some of those spots. Every day you see, whoa, that's a jump. He just took another jump, you know. So it's fun to watch him competing at that spot, and you know, and seeing him grow every day because you're seeing leaps and he wants to. He wants to. You know, he's just wants to be great at whatever role you put him in.
What unique element does he bring to a receiver versus the other receivers that have played there the whole time?
I think a little bit of, you know, what you'd expect, just some of the versatility and run after catch, you know, and some of the things that he can do once the ball's in his hand. Because, I mean, you go back to when the ball was in his hand early in the year, you know, when he was playing a lot of quarterback, a lot of his explosive runs weren't just open, weren't just free. He was breaking a tackle, making someone miss. You know, he was doing things like that to again create that explosive run. So just seeing him in those roles is, you know, or in that spot now, he provides, you know, a strong element in terms of what he can do after the catch.
Getting to know him a little bit, we probably already know the answer, but what was his reaction when you talked to him about maybe shifting positions?
He was excited. He just wants to compete. He wants to play. He wants to, you know, he'll do whatever. He's got a great infectious way about him, and yeah, so he was excited about it, and he's a selfless guy. He was during everything from a quarterback standpoint, whether he was starting and playing the whole game or whether he was getting limited reps. He's a selfless guy. He just wants to do anything he can to help, you know, and so he's excited about it.
What position would you say that he is?
Yeah, he's almost a combination. You really would. I'd say, you know, there's certain packages where it goes. Shoot, he's running back and they're giving him the ball a little bit, and might see that, and then all of a sudden a series later he's out at receiver for 2 or 3. So he truly is kind of a 50-50 split. He's that guy you'd want to play a little bit at slot and a little bit in the backfield.
Quarterback sort of out for him now?
Right now. But you know, you never know. I mean, down the road we'll see. But right now, I think it's with 2 games left. I'm just putting him, giving him 100% of this so he can really focus on this, and he's excited about it and doing a great job.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
appreciate you
Coach.
guys. Thank you.